Welcome back to Button Down Gaming. My name is Jay, and I am playing with myself. If you remember in the last episode, we dropped the priceless ancient parchment down into this alleyway because if you don't, the gangsters outside will take it from you and then throw you in a river to die. So we threw it out there so we won't have it on us when we leave. So let's get out there, huh? So last time I talked about some of my favorite point-and-click adventure games that aren't like the normal ones. Ooh. Here we go. Such as Day of the Tentacle or Maniac Mansion or, all those, Who made those? Those were LucasArts? Oh, shit.
Just a minute, monsieur.
These guys will straight up murk you.
No problem, if you cooperate.
What do you want?
Just a routine security check. Nothing to worry yourself about.
Oh, well, all right.
Search him, Flap.
You bet.
So,
Hey,
I
knock it off.
think...
Get off, you big ape.
Okay. I think this alleyway to the left here,
Nothing,
this is the one where I'm going to go.
Our apologies, monsieur.
What? I had to report you to the authorities.
Round here, we are the authorities.
You want I should break his arms?
No. Let him go, Flap.
Yeah. And I always thought it was on the wrong side until I realized the stairs wrap around, and so you're actually on the other side when you're upstairs. So it spun you around. Anyway, games like Star Trek The 25th Anniversary, which is really good. You should totally try it. And Gabriel Knight, which is also great.
They were going to be disappointed.
Gabriel Knight and this series have a little something in common. Yeah, thanks for reminding me what I need to do.
You're just not going to believe what I've found.
It's not another part of the clown's costume, is it?
It's his underwear. You can talk while you walk, dude.
It's a medieval manuscript. Khan left it in the
She's
safe at
always
the Louvre.
wearing that dress.
It's incredible. Is this what he took from Plantark?
It could be, which means it's worth enough to kill.
Okay, here's where we get into conspiracy shit. Ancient histories and Templars.
Look there, two guys on the same horse.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they couldn't afford one each. What of it?
Have you ever heard of the Knights Templar? Their official seal was an image of two knights sharing a horse.
So Gabriel Knight also gets into the Knights
Whatever
Templar
this
as well.
manuscript means it's connected with the Templars.
So this got me into
How come you know
Templar
about
stuff
these
like
guys?
at a very young
I learned
age.
about them while writing an article on the Crusades.
If you don't know, they're basically the church's knights, and among other things, they were...
This guy,
Ooh, here we
named
go.
Hughes de Payen, arrived one day at the court of King of Jerusalem. He offered to protect the Christian pilgrims from the displaced Muslim army.
There you go.
The king would be able to guarantee safe transit to Christians in the Holy Land. Safer journeys meant more pilgrims, and pilgrims meant trade and wealth. The Templars proved invaluable to the king as a mercenary army. It was said that they never asked how many the enemy numbered, just where they were. And as the years went by, the Templars grew in wealth and numbers. They were so rich, even kings came to them for loans. But at the height of their power, they fell foul of the King of France. He rounded them up and turned them over to the Inquisition.
Shit, son.
Thousands of Templars were subject to torture and confessed to heresy. Of course, at the hands of the Inquisition, there wasn't much they wouldn't confess to. The last Grand Master Jacques de Molay was burned alive. But the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found.
Ooh. Remember Temple of Doom? No, not Temple of Doom. Last Crusade.
Jeez.
It's a Templar knight that's
treasure is
protecting
hidden, waiting to
the
be discovered.
Holy Grail.
If there ever was a treasure, it's been lost for 600 years.
Basically, they're church knights.
Anyway, We're supposed to be investigating a serial killer, not a medieval treasure trove.
Well, hey, it's what they're
Maybe
after.
That's what the clown and his accomplices are after. Maybe this manuscript is the key.
You'd better leave it here for safekeeping. Think about it, George. One guy's already died for it, as you said yourself. Besides, that parchment is fragile.
I just threw it out of a
Okay,
building.
I'm convinced. You keep hold of it.
All right, but let's talk about it.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Let's talk about history.
Let's face it, we need help, George. Someone who knows about these things.
We will. Calm
Who do you
down.
suggest? Indiana Jones?
That,
I
see?
know a guy who specializes in medieval studies. His name is Lobino.
Huh. Some stuffy old fossil who gets horny over ancient relics, I suppose.
Far from it. Andre isn't the stereotypical professor you have in mind.
Where can I find this Lobino guy?
At the Kroon Museum. I'll give you the address.
So we're going to go to the Kroon Museum, but so this has the Templar storyline, and so does Gabriel Knight. That has a Templar storyline in one of its games, and I think that one also takes place in France. I think that's from the 3D Gabriel Knight game, which is notoriously awful and has one of the worst puzzles in all the point-and-click adventure games. That was the third Gabriel Knight game, I think, that went 3D. The third Broken Sword, I think, also went 3D, and it also looks terrible. It was released on the Xbox as well. So when point-and-click games go, like, to consoles, they're usually 3D and pretty bad. Like, even the third Monkey Island game went to consoles, and it's not nearly as good as the first two. So, you know, point-and-click adventure games, stop going 3D. Just use that classic 2D animation. It's what we want. Anyway, let's talk about this stuff.
There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces.
She reminds me of the Wicked Queen in Snow White.
She was the one who said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall."
Of
wasn't
course she was, George.
She made me cry so much when I was a kid. Mom carried me out of the movie theater.
She didn't frighten me in the least.
Like I said, I was only a kid. I didn't like the crocodile in Peter Pan either.
Ah, the crocodile's dope.
A knight with a crystal ball. Now, there's something written on the scroll beside the knight.
Can't make it
Yes,
out.
but it's written in Latin. Per disciplinum mea lux videbis.
By my teaching.
Oh, come on, George, really?
You speak Latin? Where did you learn a trick like that?
A trick? I studied law, okay? I can read Latin.
Not everyone that studies law can read Latin.
Tell me that again.
Trust me,
Through
I know
my
lawyers.
teachings, you will be enlightened.
Okay. And we have a loom.
There's a guy working on a loom.
That's
He's
another
weaving
great
a
game.
carpet
Loom.
or tapestry.
Point-and-click adventure
Or a
game.
duvet cover. It's a clue to a place, I reckon. Somewhere famed for weaving and ships.
Where folk live in barrels?
It beats copper boxes.
Okay.
There's a guy with a sword and a bull.
The only mythological bull I know of is the Minotaur, but he was only half bull.
I don't think I'd like to
It was
be
only half
bull.
bull.
Even if it was the bottom half.
What's the
Oh,
difference between
penis
them?
joke.
It looks like a gem on top of a tripod.
Okay. All right, well, let's go to the Kroon Museum. Let's get out of
Maybe
here.
I'll check out the Kroon Museum.
The
I'm
Kroon
sure
Museum.
you'll find it useful, George.
George. I think that's the only reason I would like to be a George, is if I was in France all the time, or knew a lot of French people. So they can call me George. Alright, off to the Kroon Museum. Musée Kroon. So long to walk. Alright, Musée Kroon. This is, I remember, is when the world really starts to open up, and it took me forever to figure this stuff out the first time I played through it. Because you can go anywhere, you know? I love you can just walk in here and there's a guard.
In the case,
No
was a
big groups of
spindly
people.
Tripod, blackened with age and pitted with rust. It was identical to the tripod pictured on the manuscript. A notice identified it as 15th century from Western Ireland. It had been found in Loch Marne at the site
Hey,
of a Knights Templar preceptory.
You're just laying down.
Ireland!
What's that?
This tripod was found in Ireland.
I will have to ask you to keep your voice down.
Am I disturbing
I'm
the
sorry, I
other
was excited.
patrons? All right, that's all we needed to know. You could spend a lot of time walking around looking at all that stuff, but we wanted that tripod.
The Templar connection confirmed it. I was tempted to go to Ireland to check it out.
Tempted? We're going to Ireland. Maybe we'll do that next episode. All right, let's go back to Rougerie. And up in here. So this is kind of a globe-trotting tale. We are going to go to a bunch of different places, including Lochmarn, Ireland, which is a weird distraction from the plot, but it's okay. Ireland's dope. I've never been myself, and I would really like to go.
Hi, Jules.
I found the tripod.
Where?
In the museum. It belonged to the Templars. It was dug up in Ireland at a place called Lochmarn.
I have heard of Lochmarn.
Oh, good for
I read an
you!
article about the castle. Take a look for yourself.
Again, she has to set it down instead of handing it directly to him. This is easier
A
to animate
popular
that.
gossip magazine. You read that rubbish?
No, I write it.
Oh, shit! We just found out that she writes for a shitty magazine.
Professor Nigel Pegram, excavating the medieval castle at Lochmarn. That's strange.
What?
He resigned his chair at Durham University in order to devote his time to the excavation. Not only that,
He
but
smokes
he
a lot.
canceled the filming of a fourth series. of
He's
his
smoking in
popular
every
television
single one of those
program.
3 pictures. Mr. Pegram.
This site at Lochmarn must be awful important to him.
He's a professor of history. They're all cuckoo.
All the same, I'd like to talk to this Professor Pegram. How do you feel about a trip to Ireland?
Disappointed.
Huh?
That I won't be going. I want to follow up the Bellotta case. If you really think Picram's gem is important, why don't you visit Lochmarn?
On my own? I'm not so sure about that.
What money does
Where's
George
Ireland,
have?
exactly?
Where is Ireland? Seriously? Where is Ireland?
I'll see you later.
Okay. Keep me informed if you find anything new.
I really want to go to Ireland. I would love, love, love to go to Ireland. I think of all the places in Europe, it'd be my number 1 pick. And then maybe France and Italy, England, Scotland, a few other places. I'm German, so probably Germany, I guess. All right, anyway, we'll be going to Ireland and the airport next time on Button Down Gaming. Be sure to join me and watch me play with myself.